you're going to click, you should see a remix button here. Please click remix. I am going to do this so that I'm making a copy. You do not have to do this. I'm just making a copy myself. Okay.
Is this the one for the functions?
We are also going to do functions. Yeah, we'll also do a function. All right, friends, I got to do this fast because we are running out of time. So please watch. If it's too fast for you, it will be on YouTube at some point today. All right, here we go. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to use this pick random block right here, and I'm going to drop it into add an item to my dice list. Now, I need to ask the user how many dice do they want to roll with how many sides. So I'm going to go over to sensing and grab an ask block. And I'm going to say how many dice. And I'm going to set the num of dice variable to whatever the user types in. Okay? Cool. Then I'm going to duplicate this chunk of code right here. And this time I'm going to say how many sides. How many sides? And I'm going to change num of sides to whatever the answer is. Okay? If I test this out real quick, when I click the block, how many dice? I say 3. How many sides? I say 6. Notice that the variables are added up. Friends, please keep the volume down. I'm still recording. Okay. So next thing I want to do is I want to add a random number between 1 and the number of sides, because that's going to represent a die with X number of sides. Okay? And notice when I click this block right here, you should see 3 numbers go on there. Well, I could keep going, actually. But I only want to repeat this block of code for the number of dice. And the reason being, I go to control, repeat. The reason being is if they choose 3 dice, I just want to add a random number 3 times. So I'll grab num of dice and drop it into that block there. Okay?
Okay, Mr. G.
Cool. And friends, that is the dice roll program. It's pretty straightforward. Yeah, pretty cool, right? Ooh, good question. Yep, you're right. I forgot one thing. Technically, I could do this. Watch this. I could say, hey, you know what? I want to roll 3 dice with -9 sides. Yeah, that's not going to work.
How did you get -3?
I have no idea. Because it rolled a number between 1 and -9.
Yeah, but you got -3.
Well, it just randomly picked -3
I know,
3 times.
all 3 times.
That's weird. All right, so friends, here's what I need to do. Look, last thing. Control. I'm going to grab an if-then-else statement. And I'm going to say if, I'm going to grab an and Boolean. And I'm going to say as long as the number of sides is greater than, I'll just say 4. And it is also less than, number of sides is less than 81. So that means we can pick sides between 5 and 80. As long as that happens, then we can roll our dice. Otherwise, we need to say, please choose between 5 and 80 sides inclusive. That means it includes 5 and it includes 80. Yes, you do. Capiche? All right, friends, there is our program. Now, last but not least, how much time do I have? 7 minutes. Here we go.
7.
Yep, we're out of here at 40. Here we go. Here's how you make a function. Now, listen. Functions, like we talked about earlier, are a form of abstraction. They make our code easier to use and easier to understand. Here's why. Let's say you're making a game that deals with rolling dice. Rather than have to write all of this code here every time, I can create a function and just reuse that one function over and over again as many times as I want. Okay? Here's how we do it. Are you ready?
No. Yes.
Too bad. Oops, I just deleted my comment. Sad days.
Control V, Mr. G.
That's true.
It's fast.
Yay.
Yay.
All right, I'll just put it up here.
We're saved.
All right, here we go. Friends, I'm going to go over to my blocks, and I'm going to click my block. I'm going to say roll underscore dice. Okay? And look, for this function, I want to have some parameters. That means I want to have some input to my program. I'm going to smash that add input button twice, and here's the input that I want. I'm going to have num sides or num of dice. I want the number of dice that the user wants to roll, and I want the num of sides. Number of sides, number of dice. And I click OK. Now, friends, you'll see this block right here. It might be hidden behind your sticky note, so just move the sticky note if you don't see it. This block is defining what the roll dice block does. So this roll dice block right here, guys, if I try to click this, it's not going to do anything because I haven't told Scratch what I'm doing with this function yet. Okay? Don't forget, this is a function. It does some work, and it allows me to reuse this function later on without having to write out all of this code. All right, check it out. This function does one thing. It rolls dice. That's all I care about. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this functionality and I'm going to drop it here. Notice how I am not removing this functionality here. Okay?
Are you calling them functionality?
No, functionality just means like what this thing does. One thing I do actually want to move over, though, I am going to move over this delete all of block. And I'm going to put it, let's see, where do I want to put this? I'll put it at the bottom, actually, the very bottom. Because here's the thing, friends. This function should only deal with rolling dice. Okay? Now, please watch this very carefully. You'll see that I have some variables already in this code. I do not want these variables for right now. And I do want that, though. I don't want this variable. And I'll show you why. Let me show you why. This is what the function's going to do. Whatever inputs we put in this slot is going to represent num of dice. This slot is going to represent num of sides. So I want to take my num of sides parameter and put it there. And I want to put it there. Because I'm saying whatever value this is, we want to check this value to make sure it's bigger than 4 and it's less than 81. I also want to repeat this block of code for this value, num of dice. And I want to pick a number between 1 and number of sides. Okay? Now, friends, here's why this is important to do it this way. Check this out. Look, if I grab this block, my roll dice block, and I move it here, let me show you what happens. Okay, when I click this block, you'll see that nothing is actually happening. Okay? Nothing's happening. However, if I type in any numbers, let's say I put 4 there and I put 15 here, and I click this block. Hold on one second. Yep, that should work. Oh, actually, hang on. My bad. Let me take off the delete all of dice real quick. Notice when I click this, okay, it will allow me to add dice on there. Okay, so this block will do exactly what it's supposed to. It says roll dice. I put the inputs in, and when I click it, it does exactly what it's supposed to do. Okay, but now what I can do is this. I can now put this block up here on the when flag is clicked block. When sprite is clicked, sorry. I'm actually going to move delete all of dice up here, actually. So it's only going to do it when you start the program, and then it'll add everything afterwards. So check this out now, guys. Watch what I can do. I can go to variables, and I'm going to grab num of dice and drop it there, and I'm going to grab num of sides and drop it here. Because look, whatever my answer that I type in, I save that to num of dice. This question, I save the answer to num of sides. So now when I click this block, okay, let's say I type in 2 and a 20-sided die. Hold on. Sometimes you have to hit stop, friends, in order for this to like reset.
We didn't go flying split. It'd be a lot easier.
I know. I'm going to click 2, and I'll click a 20-sided die. There are my dice rolls. And if I click it again, I'll type 3 this time and 6-sided die. There's my dice. So, friends, notice that this block is really covering up. It's adding a layer of abstraction to this whole chunk of code.